Was before you get into this incredible interview with Jules from Good Luck, who is phenomenal. This is a bit of a different interview. We go deep into all sorts of ways. That's what I love about this podcast. Bit of whiskey, bit of chatting, goes onto a weird place. But talking about whiskey, this is the first time I'm doing this. So the beautiful humans at Whiskey Brother, whiskeybrother.com, we're doing a very special. If you go to Whiskey Brother now and order a whiskey for 500 Rand or more, which is all the good whiskeys, the checkout code is "What's your poison?" One word. What's your poison? No apostrophes, just all that in one word. First 50 customers will get free shipping anywhere in South Africa, valid till the end of the month, and limited to one per customer. Whiskeybrother.com, best whiskeys. If you're looking for a gift or just something for yourself, order it now. It will support me in this podcast and help us keep it alive, and it'll also support a great business called Whiskey Brother. And you have to write whiskeybrother.com. Here is the interview with Jules from Good Luck. Hello, Rockstar.
Hello. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. I was in a session with this really cool alt pop duo from Canada. They are in the studio currently, still trying to work on a hook. And
Well,
I
are
have
you
to
doing are you remotely working?
No, they're actually here. It's weird. They're in Cape Town. So yeah, we're working together. It's really cool.
What studio are you in? I don't recognize that room.
This is our own studio.
Oh,
Good
well,
luck.
that might.
Our kitchen
Wow.
full of Indian food. This is our trampoline. And in the back over there, you must come visit. This is our little thing that we built in the back. That's where they are in that big studio. And if you can see it through there.
I can see. Wow, that studio looks incredible.
Thank you. It's our playground.
What area are you in?
We are in Capricorn Park in near Muizenberg in Cape Town.
Oh, cool. You're right around the corner. Jeez, and I like the weird purple lighting, like got the vibes going.
Yeah, it's super cool. Super cool. It's very messy at the moment, but we've been working here, so
it shouldn't. A tidy studio shouldn't be.
Yes, I totally agree. Totally agree. Nice to see you.
You as well. It's been ages. Just before we move on, can you tell me anything about the Canadian band you're collaborating with, or is it all under the wrap?
No, yeah, sure. They're called Neon Dreams. They're from. Wait, I will tell you. They have told me the town, and I really should know this. It's a very small town in Canada. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm very naughty. Right. But they've done some really good stuff in Canada. They've had a few top 40 hits, so they're quite successful. And they had a song that just went really viral here in South Africa randomly, and actually weirdly in the Afrikaans market. So it's interesting because it's not Afrikaans, it's very English, but they're really cool guys. They've had quite a similar story and trajectory to Good Luck. So it's been really interesting working with them, and we've just made a song together and we're finishing it off. We're stuck on one part of it, which is driving me crazy, but we're getting there.
You know what you need? You know Brian Eno's oblique strategy cards. Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay, check it out. In the 80s or the 90s, there's still producers and songwriters use this around the world. Brian Eno created a deck of cards called Brian Eno's Oblique Strategies. And on each card is some piece of totally random advice that helps you when you get stuck in the studio. So it might be totally abstract or totally specific. It might say, like, leave this bar empty, or it might say, listen to the last bar of the song to inspire you. It might say, like, turn everything off and only listen to the bass line. Or it might say donkey. You never know what you're going to get, but it's designed to help you get out of creative roadblocks when you're in studio.
I like that. I like
them.
that.
There's a lot of them are on PDFs online. Google them. It might help you.
Definitely. I'm going to do that straight after this because we've been stuck on one little stupid line for about 2 hours. Anyway, we'll get it. Yeah, happens.
Just last question. Was this an impromptu, not the last question, but to do with this, was this an impromptu sort of, how did you meet these guys? How come they're suddenly in South Africa? Why are you in studio with some Canadian people?
It's quite strange. So they are on tour at the moment. Obviously they had the song that's blown up, and I don't know how they managed to get it right, but they've managed to book a tour to South Africa, which is like a self-promoted tour. They've already sold out. I think it's like 15 or 16 dates around South Africa. And so they've booked a full month here. And I think how it happened, because I honestly hadn't heard of them before.
I don't think you told us what they're called yet.
Neon Dreams.
Oh, you did say that. Sorry, you did say that.
So I hadn't heard of them before, but we started getting tagged a lot by people in a post that they'd put out on their Instagram, just saying, hey guys, who should we collaborate with when we're in South Africa? And a lot of people tag GoodLuck. So then I obviously suddenly saw who they were, and I really liked their music. And then I either wrote to them or they wrote to us, I can't remember, on Instagram, and we just linked. And then the next thing, we booked a date, and here they are. So yeah,
are you writing on their stuff, or are they writing on yours?
So we're actually working on a production that we're working on with Ross McDonald, who you probably know.
Right, cool.
He's a friend of ours, and so he had a really cool sketch track that Ben and him were working on, and we've just taken the kind of beat and bass, and now we're working on like a whole new song with it. So yeah, we just we all like that one. We were just like, we played a whole lot of our material that we have in the bag, and they actually didn't play us any of theirs. They should have, but we just picked one, and then the next thing we were working on it. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great. Well, lovely to have you on. Really excited. I dig your Nirvana t-shirt. Have you seen the Dave Grohl movie and book that's about to come out?
No, I'm really, really excited. I've heard about it, but I'm like such a Foo Fighters fan. So it's
that dude, he just everything he does is awesome. I don't know what's wrong with him, but like,
there's nothing wrong with him. He's just a good person. I think he's
just
a good guy.
But he does so much cool shit. If you want to, I don't know how well you know Theo Kraus.
Not particularly, but I know of him.
Well, if you want to listen, if you go back and listen to my Theo Kraus episode, you will hear the most epic Dave Grohl story.
Cool.
Like crazy from him. Like him, it was amazing. He ended up going to his birthday in America.
Oh my God. Wow. That must have been crazy. Jeez,
I don't want to tell you. I don't want to ruin the story. It's a very.
No, I want to watch it. Don't ruin it. I want to go watch it.
No, I was going to say it's a very, very amazing build-up with a really crappy ending.
Oh, okay. Well, then don't. Anyway. I definitely want to watch it now. It sounds even like a better story.
Jules, have you got something to drink there, by any chance?
I do, but it's on the other side of the room. Should we go get it?
We got to go get it. That's that's our vibe here.
Okay, awesome. Let me go get it. I know it's What's Your Poison, but I don't drink. So
you don't drink? We don't have to.
Okay, good, because I'm having very naughty elderflower cordial, because that's my poison.
Have you never drunk, or is it a thing that you've stopped drinking, or it was never a thing?
I don't say I've never drunk, and I also don't like. I'm also not like wanting to say that I don't drink entirely, because there have been times, and I do still sometimes. I love cocktails, but like generally I don't really drink. And if I'm gonna have a cocktail, I'm having a pina colada. But unfortunately, I just did not have the energy or time to make a full-on pina colada for this.
No, this is supposed to be very relaxed, no stress. Cheers. Anyway, I'm drinking. What am I drinking? I actually do not like Johnny Walker, but it's what I have left in the cupboard.
Oh, that's good.
And, what are your poisons then? What are your bad habits that you love?
Well, I mean, I'm recently into I don't want to say it's poison, because I actually think it's the opposite, but I suppose it is a poison. I have gotten quite into microdosing. So that's
cool.
That's my new thing. It's not legal, so I should be careful what I tell about this. But
microdosing not legal, I think.
No, with mushrooms. I don't think they're legal yet. But I do take them regularly, I guess. But it's more for focus and creativity and concentration.
I'm interested in understanding this, like the science of microdosing. Explain it to me.
So mushrooms are an incredible medicine. They're like a really powerful way of tapping into, if you take a large dosage, you can tap into a whole other stream of consciousness and a kind of dimension in your mind. I have done what they call a journey on mushrooms before, which is where you go into like a facilitated place and they give you a large dosage of like five grams of mushrooms, and it's called a hero dose. And essentially, like you put on an eye mask, you lie down, and you have a very inward journey, and like a lot of stuff comes up, and it's a very beautiful experience. You feel very, very connected to the world. Your ego goes out the window. You feel empathy. You just feel this incredible sense of like greater purpose, and you feel your place in it like strongly. And I say feel because it's not about your mind. You don't think anything, you just feel it. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to actually experience. I think it's the best thing I've ever experienced in my life, actually.
Wow.
And coming out of that, I just felt like this was a medicine that really spoke to the way that I am, because I'm a big control freak, a big overthinker, a big doer. I do all the things that, like in this band, I do a lot of everything, and I'm constantly juggling a million thoughts in my mind. And I had found up to that point that I think I was even like mildly depressed because I was just my brain was just so tired, you know. And yeah, so I did this journey, and it was.
Is this pre-COVID or during COVID
no,
or post?
This was like 2 months ago.
Oh, okay. So this is all new. This is
Yeah,
all a new revelation.
A new revelation, yeah. And it had a profound effect on me. I really was changed for the better, I think. And when I was in after the session, I was chatting to the guy who facilitated it for me, and I said to him, you know, this was just the most incredible thing. And he said to me, well, I was telling him about my issues, you know, and he said, well, you might be a candidate for microdosing, which you should check out. So I did a lot of research into it, and it's a very small amount that you take in a pill every day, or you could just eat it like yum. And not every day, or you can take it as and when you feel you would like it. And I think what's so nice is that I feel like the only way I can describe it is it gently gives me whatever I need for the day. So if I need to be creative, it'll just open up that window. If I need to be focused, it'll just open up that window. And why I like it is that it's from nature. It's not messed with by human hands. It's not chemically created. It's not like Concerta or Ritalin or any of these drugs that we happily give to children all the time. But it's a beautiful way of just like getting your mind clearer, you know. And I really like it. It is a poison technically, but I don't think it's a poison. I think it's.
Look, I don't know. Do you know who Tim Ferriss is?
I don't know. Sorry.
Do you know who Sam Harris is?
Should I know the name?
These are global, like top performers. You know, Tim Ferriss. I mean, in the podcasting world, he's like probably the. You know, he runs hundreds of businesses, one of the most successful entrepreneurs on the planet, and he interviews other successful entrepreneurs for a living. So his podcast is like interviewing top performers, like from Arnold Schwarzenegger to everyone in business. And I've seen over the last, say, a year or two that everyone, like microdosing is becoming a normal part of the life of extremely high performers in business and athletes as well. And Sam Harris, he's a philosopher. He's like the nerdiest guy ever who's into psychology and debating and philosophy. Also like a very, you know, I think it is a normal, it's becoming a tool for high performance people to sort of do whatever they're doing with it. I mean, I don't think it's
you know, I think what it is it's breaking away from your ego, getting beyond your ego, and there is your potential. As soon as you and not ego, I don't mean by ego, I mean like your ego. I mean, you know, your conscious mind where you are doubting yourself and putting limitations in your way. And I think what's beautiful about it is that it allows you to have time in a deeper realm of who you are. And when you're there, you understand what your potential is. And I think a lot of these people are doing it to unleash further potential. But for me, it was more just to reconnect with myself. And I know they've had incredible results with depression. They're having ridiculous results. There's a study going on in the UK at the moment where they have like 100, they're treating like 100 people who are treatment resistant depression candidates, and basically, here's my one Canadian friend. This is Frank.
Hello, Canadian man, Frank.
So they're having 100 or so people are doing this trial, and they all treatment resistant depression candidates, where like they're not responding to antidepressant drugs, and they have had the most astounding results with psilocybin. Astounding, like to the point where, you know, the evidence is too incredible that they can't ignore this. You know, they can't go, okay, they have to, you know, they're guys taking 1 or 2 of these hero doses and coming out like, and the depression's just left like permanently. Wow. You know,
wow,
so I think, so I think it's definitely probably at some point, hopefully in our lifetime, going to be normalized and legalized. And if people feel called to it, then they can do it. If they don't, they don't. You know, all good.
Is there, I mean, I don't know enough about it. Is there, what about the thing that I worry about is that you say like, it's particularly your first deep dive is like it changed you. Can't it change you for the worst as well? Isn't there the risk of going the other way?
I'm
also a control freak. That's why I'm asking that question.
Yes, there is a risk. I'm not going to say it isn't. There's always a risk in anything. But I think when I spoke to my mentor, whatever you want to call it, they have actually called watchers. I spoke to my watcher about the whole thing, and I said, you know, what if I have a bad trip? What if it goes badly and it's like really dark and all stuff comes up? And she said to me, well, there's no such thing as a bad trip. So I was like, what do you mean? She said, well, whatever. The mushrooms will give you whatever you need, and if you need to deal with that pain, you're going to deal with it. It's gonna maybe hurt you and maybe make you feel dreadful in the moment, but you will have the opportunity to deal with it. And so I think that's really it. You know, it's like about your mindset. And like when I went into it, I had this very open mind. I was like, wherever it goes, whatever happens, I'm going to just know it's not permanent. It's a short slice of my life, and I'm going to be open to whatever I see. And if it's something I don't want to see, I'm not going to block it. I'm just going to see it, accept it, and let it go. And that was kind of my plan going into it. And I definitely think it worked, because I had beautiful moments and I had some sad moments, and they were all wonderful, you know. But I think it's just such a beautiful opportunity to be able to get away from your own bullshit. You know, we put so much of our own stuff in front of ourselves all the time, and this is an opportunity to just be pushed over the edge a little. But yeah, I think it was great for me. I'm not saying it's for everyone. It might not be for you at all. You know, I mean, I'm personally of the belief that things like alcohol and that are more dangerous. But that's just me. and it's also non-addictive as well, which is really nice.
Well, I've got 2 more questions on this subject. The first one is, it's not addictive. You're taking it every day, though.
I'm choosing to, and I'm not. No, I'm not taking it every day. I'm taking it when I feel I would like today. I took some because I was in a writing session, but tomorrow I don't have anything going on, so I won't take anything. I'm using it to kind of like for when I need to be focused and on my A game. And if I don't need to be focused and on my A game, I won't take it. Yeah.
This is supposed to be a more fun interview, but I'm enjoying this conversation.
It's so quite deep.
No, it's okay. I like learning stuff. I wanted to ask you this, and no pressure to answer this, but I suppose it's a double whammy. How have you dealt with lockdown, and what led you to needing to find something like this for you?
Yeah, it's been, I mean, I don't think it's any surprise to hear that it's been a tricky year. It's been like a double-edged sword, and everyone I think will probably have the same answer. You know, there's been a beautiful, wonderful side to being in lockdown, having the space to think, having the space to like create and slow down and, you know, figure out what your life's about. Because I think, I don't know if you've experienced this as well, but I think in the music industry, what people maybe don't realize is that you're literally living weekend to weekend. Like you don't actually, well, I found personally, it's really hard to plan your life. Like normal things that normal people plan and look forward to and all that. You don't get to have that when you're in the music industry. Like
I'll be honest. I love music and I love being a musician. I do not miss being in a band.
performing. Yeah.
No, I miss performing, but that's
Yeah.
not that's not the same thing that you're talking about.
No.
It's
No, it
the
is.
everything around that. It's the performing is like the final 2%. It's the other 98% that's the problem.
Yeah, and it's a very, you have to be really tough to be in this industry because it's, there's so much comparison in every aspect of what it is, and that's a very dangerous thing, especially when you throw social media into the mix. You're comparing yourself to other people, to yourself, to what you did last, to where you're going, to what that happened to. It's just like it's this consistent pressure, and I think I'm like getting away from that and having a complete mind reset was really good for me and really good for us. And what I've learned is that I have the best people in my business and band. Like we have definitely not taken this whole approach of like, okay, we'll just wait it out and see what happens, and we can't do anything, so we won't do anything. I think we've just gone, cool, like we understand what's going on. There is nothing we can do. This is a global situation. Like what else? We're creatives. What else can we create? So we've kind of started all these side hustles. And I mean, when I say all these, I mean like 5 or 6. And we're just having fun. Like we've got all these different little projects going on. And they all have potential. They're all seeds, and we're watering them right now. And if one of them takes off, great. If none of them take off, it's fine. We're just having fun creating, and maybe that will spout opportunity for other people. Because I think musicians are so resilient. We're such entrepreneurs. We are like, it's like our duty. I think
it's you have to be the extraordinary thing, and in my opinion, about being an artist in South Africa is that you have to, there's no infrastructure. As a music person, you have to build all the infrastructure around the thing as well as be in the band. So it's not, there's nothing to plug into. You've got to actually create the plug, the socket, the cable, and be in the band.
Yes.
So by nature, we are much more hardcore hustlers that are more willing to sort of create things or go beyond the call of duty to actually make things happen.
Absolutely. That's exactly it. I think, I mean, as well as I do, there's like, can count on one hand the amount of good managers there are in this country. So even a lot of the top artists
One finger. Never mind. I can't get a whole hand.
And even, yeah. and it's hard because like, I think most of the top artists are self-managed, because it just isn't. I suppose you're right. There's just the industry, it's I won't say naive, but it is in a way, and we have to do it all. So that's been cool, like to take the biggest thing, which was the rat race in a way for us, because we were so busy on the live front and it was consistent. Like I could tell you between now and December, like what my whole year looks like. And there was never any space carved out for like me. Like, what do I want to do, outside of this? Like I'm not, I can't identify with GoodLuck as like, it's not who I am. I love it, and it's what we've built and it's what we do, but it's not who I am. And I think that breakaway was just really great. But then obviously with that came a whole lot of stuff I needed to deal with that I hadn't dealt with for the last 10 years because I've been so busy. So it was like all of that compounded with like, also I'm a very empathetic person, and actually, I won't say I'm empathetic. I'm not empathetic. I'm shocking at empathy. I'm actually sympathetic. So just feeling what is happening in the world and feeling desperate, for other people as well was like, it was a big thing for me. And I think that situation compounded with what I was going through just led me to like a little bit of like a soul searching, and a few little things ticked into place, and I felt very called to do this mushroom thing, and I was really glad that I did it. But it was I had to read the signs. It wasn't something that I just went like, oh, I'm definitely going to do this. Like, it was, there were lots of signs that came at me. Yeah.
I've got a weird question, and I don't know that it's an appropriate one, and don't be offended by it, but I'm taking from what you're saying. I love the new stuff, that your Up Close album, But
Mm.
I want to ask you something, and I say it with respect.
Go.
It
Yeah.
feels like, and again, all the respect in the world, it feels
Hmm.
like your solo project more than a Good Luck album to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that must be a sort of COVID related. I'm only bringing it up because it's been on my mind. I hadn't thought about it till now, but
It's
what
so
you're
interesting.
saying,
It's so interesting that you say that, because I think it was actually kind of the opposite.
hmm,
We
weird.
we were well, in a sense, because we have this album, this Good Luck, Good Luck, how you normally recognize Good Luck, dance album, pop, the thing. We had it ready to go last year and still ready, still waiting in the wings. And we kind of knew, like, with everything that was going on, it wouldn't be clever, or we wouldn't be giving the music its best chance to kind of get out into the world if we released it in a year where no one was in nightclubs and no one was on dance floors and no one was in festivals. That's where our music is heard most of the time. So we decided to hold it back, and then we were like, what do we do? Because we've kind of worked really hard on this album, and we're not going to put it out. We don't want to disappear. And we still have a lot of creativity. And then one day I was just sitting at the piano and I was just playing rum and cola in like a very stripped down, like you actually hear it on the record, like really stripped down, just piano and keys. And it sounded all melancholic and sad. And Tim and Ben heard it and they were like, we have got to do this as an album. And then the whole idea just escalated from like, yeah, it would be Jules on the guitar and the piano, maybe with Tim, maybe like helping a little bit, very easy. We'll do it in a week and hit it out. To like, then we were watching Lee Thompson's band playing live. He did a live stream and it blew our minds. And then the whole idea escalated to like, let's get 11 musicians and who are all our friends who we love, and actually make this a thing.
Mm.
And I know why you're saying what you say, because I think my voice for the first time is totally exposed in a very raw and very vulnerable way, which it hasn't
That's a
been
part of
before.
it, but and you're explaining it to me. It's a lot more introspective album than
Mm.
an album designed for people to dance to, I guess. I
No,
suppose
yeah,
that's the
no,
obvious.
that
That's
is
the obvious.
that was not. I mean, we're not even touching on that. That was like, we wanted to, and also people. I think we always considering our fans, and we're always considering. I don't like to say we like only write music for them, because we obviously, every song that I write is extremely honest and always a narrative of something that I've seen or I'm going through or we're going through. But we like to consider people, and I think we all knew it would be weird to put out like a full-on dance album now. And where are people spending the most time? At home, by their swimming pools, if they have one, on the lawn, whatever, in their lounge. People are chilling, and we wanted to
Mm.
give them a little bit of a soundtrack to that and give them some music that's appropriate to that setting. But then it did go quite jazzy, and like, because we had 11 people on this album, and they're mostly from UCT, ex-jazz students, and these are like the top session guys in Cape Town. And it was so crazy because they all came into the studio, and Ben, who produced the album, would just be like, okay, what do you think? How do we do this song? And they'd all come in and they'd play it at what they thought would be cool, like a few little conversations. And then he'd be like, nah, something different. Like, give it to me like a bossa nova. And then like, you just click your fingers and they're playing the song like a bossa nova. They're like, that's good,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like, it's wild. So honestly, John, it was, I think, the most fun I've ever had on a record, like, since we've been going. And I love what we do. I really do. But this was just so cool. And I think it's just the energy of all the people in the room. Like, it was
I
just
love
such
that. I'll
a
tell you this. You remind me of this. I once took the Nomadic Orchestra on tour it
wow.
was the late late cassette, and they were still lighties, but we loved them, and we arranged all the songs into sort of like that nomadic side, and it was myself and Jane and the whole of the Nomadic Orchestra did a cassette tour doing, and it's just
Brilliant.
having their. And they were also
And
like all UCT students. It's that weird fucking energy of like mad musical genius where they don't know anything except for music, that there's so much magic in that.
yeah, it's beautiful.
Unjaded,
Yeah, it
you
is.
know.
It's unfaded. And also, I think what's so nice is that everyone contributed, I would say Shen Winberg and Ben probably had the most ideas, but everybody had a part to play in what we did in terms of like where we went with the music. So it was such an open book, and we didn't prescribe anything. You know, we were like, here's the original, what would you do? And then ideas were thrown in the pot, and then sort of Ben and Shen and Ben mainly crafted like and molded where the songs went. And I think it was really cool for the band to see Ben too, because he's a phenomenal producer. Like, he is unreal, and like I think he can produce anything. And I'm not just saying that because I'm in a band. Like, he's really good at hearing potential and things. I forget it because I fight with him a lot because I get irritated. But like, just watching him in that space and seeing what he was picking out and what he was picking up in the room, it's a skill to be able to listen to everyone like that and to actually know what's missing or what needs to change, you know. So it was cool. And I think
buy him the Brian Eno Oblique Strategies cards for his birthday. He'll appreciate it.
His birthday tomorrow. So I will.
Okay. That's cool, man. Very cool. I just saw, what did I see last week on your April Fool's joke?
Hey, that wasn't my joke. I got busted so hard. It was, oh my God. You know what's so irritating?
It's quite mean, actually.
It's just so mean after everything. You know what's so annoying for me is that in the morning I was doing some training, and I do like working out in the mornings 3 times a week with a trainer at the studio. And it's just weird because my trainer also does triathlon training with Tim, who was the guy who pranked me. And that morning I said, you know, guys, I am going to get Tim today because he's so easy. Like, I can get him and he'll react to anything. And I was just like inventing what I was going to do. And then like half an hour later, he got me.
So you set yourself up, actually.
I set myself up. I was so busy thinking about how I was going to prank him that he just snuck under the radar and pranked me back. Yeah, it was funny. I mean, I'm really relieved that it wasn't real because I was so stressed about it.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you was I only saw peripherally what they were pranking you on was what seemed like quite a traumatic ordeal the previous year.
Yeah.
What happened there? Just remind me. But I just saw it happening, but I didn't know what the hell was happening. It just looked bad.
So obviously, I think we're more famous now for the La Parada situation than we are for just being a band. But obviously, off the back of that, and off the back of, you know, I suppose a public shaming, which is what happened. There was unnecessary. I agree with you, but I also know that, like, you know, we were in the wrong to some extent as well, and obviously we take the knock on the chin for that. But we obviously it was difficult for us to go through that. I think for the reason, a lot of the reason was that we did feel like it was a little bit unfair, and I also lost a fair amount of respect for the media. You know, I think it's so important for people to know that those articles were published, and to this day, no one from the press has phoned me, not one soul, to ask me whether it was true, what happened, you know, and we were just like splashed all over the news. And it's crazy that's allowed to. Then you start thinking, like, what else are we being told that isn't right, you know?
Ooh, you open up Pandora's box for me right now. You're triggering me in all different ways.
Yeah, it's crazy. I didn't realize until I was part of it, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, if you don't know what we're talking about, like, GoodLuck was in the night before Cyril Ramaphosa was due to speak. We were playing a gig at La Parada, which we've been booked to play. They've been doing regular gigs there.
Which month was this? Was this right at the beginning?
No, it was, I think, I can't remember the exact date, but it was the night before Cyril was going to speak. So tensions were really high on the ground because they weren't sure.
Sorry, what I'm trying to get at, where in the storyline, what is Cyril about to announce? This was like December. So it was like second wave, but there was a lot of, that's right.
Because I think people had been given a small amount of freedom and they were really enjoying it. And then they could see the things were going up again. And there was stress that they were going to be put in, and all these rumors, like, you know, people were not sure what was happening, and our restaurant's going to be closed.
No one has ever known. The one thing I've learned through lockdown, all the information is incorrect. The doctors don't know shit. Anything that anyone says they know, like, oh, I know someone in government and this is going to happen, it never happens. All the statistics are completely wrong. and
Yeah.
no one knows anything about anything. That's the one thing I am sure about
You're
when it comes
so
to
right.
COVID.
You're so right. But again, like there's all the speculation, right? And there's all this hype, and there's all this, like people are just
Fear.
ready for
It's fear.
they're ready to be triggered. Put it that way.
Yeah,
They're like, they're ready to be triggered, and we were the thing that triggered. We were the thing that got picked up on. It's very important to note, though, and this also wasn't told by the press, that like that two things. And look, it wasn't our event, but obviously we were the ones who publicly apologized, so we got more kind of focus, I guess, than the venue. But two things to note is that it was actually a completely compliant COVID event. It was 155 people outdoors when you were allowed to do 500 people outdoors. Everyone was screened and tested and masked. And
Go
then
away with your facts.
And and another thing was, that event was, I hand on my heart, the most boring gig we've played up to the last song, which was the song that was captured on camera when everyone got up and jumped around. And my big mistake, and I totally admit to this, was I got carried away and excited and jumped on the table and danced, which was bad, Jules, naughty. And that's what was filmed. And obviously it looked terrible because that looked like the whole party was that vibe where 95% of it were people just sitting at their tables being a little bit boring. And then also just the last thing about it, which was where I struggled as well to process, because I just wanted to tell people this, but I also know you can't come back firing. You have to just apologize and back down, because in the moment they don't want to hear anything else. But the video was filmed actually by the wife of a competing restaurateur who was struggling. So it was completely intentional. It was an intended thing, and I spoke to him on the phone the next day. I said, you've really hurt us. This is, because he said, I'm a fan of your guys. I said, well, I don't think you thought this through, but like, he said, no, they needed to be exposed for what they were doing. They were doing.
So they thought they were exposing the venue,
but they actually really damaged our brand for a while. And, I said, but also the industry, like I said to him, I think actually so much is going on. Even now, I mean, you go into town, places are packed, no one's wearing masks, and it's happening. And if, it's, and I know that it can be dangerous, but I think I'm all about choice, personal choice. And I think if you personally choose to take that risk, and you personally cool to be, see whatever the consequences come, you personally okay and at peace with that, that's your personal choice, But as soon as people start
I think you're taking it way too personally, Jules. I don't think it has anything to do with any of the things you think it has to do with, and it has nothing to do with GoodLuck. You're right about the media. But, the media, it's not the media's fault, but, media is dead because of how the internet has moved, I think. But most importantly, to your point, what lockdown did was made everybody live online. So what's happening in the real world has very little to do with the online version of events becomes the reality when the sort of scales are tipped in the favor of the illusion.
You're right, but I think the frustration for me was that it wasn't accurate, and it was unfairly depicted, and I struggle with when things are not fair. But when you are the bad guy, or when you are seen to be the bad guy, there is nothing you can say in the moment that will reflect well on you. Nothing. You just have to say, I'm sorry, and walk away. Otherwise, you're going to get, like, you will say something and you'll get 10 more million people jumping down your throat. So, and that's another thing I learned. Like, I understand why people just keep quiet when things go down, because, what can you do?
Okay. First of all, I say this with sadness in my heart. I identify very, very much with being the bad guy in situations and I feel incorrectly or misperceived. But the other thing that sort of bugs me about, I hear you and I definitely feel your pain. What annoys me, and this is not on you, is that if you haven't done something wrong and you don't feel you can defend yourself because it'll make things worse, what is that about? Like, I mean, I'm not putting this on you. I'm saying that's an environment that is, I think, relatively new.
Absolutely, dude.
In the last couple of years.
Kind of worms here. Like, are we talking about wokeness? Because, I mean,
the vocabulary.
The vocabulary, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, yes. I mean, we are in this very dangerous. It's beautiful in some ways, and it's very dangerous in other ways, because in some ways, you know, people are sensitive to each other's likenesses, but in other ways, you know, no one's allowed to call anyone out on anything anymore. And I don't know. It's and no one and if you feel that you're validated in something, you're not allowed to defend yourself. Is the
This is the
public
problem.
perception is that
Yeah.
it's bad.
The sentiment is 100% correct. Like what I think wokeness is trying to achieve is actually 100% amazing. The methodology is brutal, and that's that's the thing. Yeah.
I just think it's beautiful and dangerous, and like there's a really fine line with it, you know. Who was I watching recently that said something that really connected with me? Oh, it was a podcast with Mike Posner. And he said there was someone he went to go see, some guru in Hawaii, and he said something to the tune of like, you can love things, or you can love and you can hate things, or you can just love everything. And it's just do that, because it's actually much easier. And I don't know, like I'm feeling that at the moment. I'm just like, love it all. You know, it's one way to do it, and it's less hassle. So yeah, my car was stolen last week. I love it. Maybe I'll get a new one.
Yeah, well, that's the mushrooms talking now.
Maybe. Maybe.
So let me ask you this then. I mean, these are weird questions. They're just coming into my head. But the reason we've known each other for a long time, maybe 10 to 12 years, but we've never actually spent probably 30 minutes actually having a chat. So I'm really enjoying this. Thank you.
Me too. Thank you.
You see, you know, you are a very focused person, and you've got a lot going on, and I really appreciated how open you've been explaining sort of where you are. What are the things that bring you your most joy?
My family. I'm a huge family person. I see I have 3 siblings. I'm the oldest of 4 kids, and we are like best friends, all of us, 2 boys and a girl, and me, 2 girls, 2 boys. And my sister has everybody, they all have partners or girlfriends or husbands, and my sister has 2 kids. And yeah, I'm just really tight with my whole family. They have also been pretty much the only people I've seen last year, because I mean, for obvious reasons. And I don't know, like I think there's something about family. If you are lucky enough to have a good relationship, like they know you better than anybody, and there's like zero, you know, there's zero kind of barrier there. You know, you can just really be who you are. And yeah, I've had a great time being able to see them as much as I have. It's been awesome. Also, my cat, I have a really beautiful Maine Coon called George Harrison, who is
great name.
Yeah, he is awesome. And what else brings me joy? I mean, like, you know, music always brings me joy, and helping people. I've always had a big like pull in my heart to help out the underdogs. I've been like that since I was a young girl, and I've carried it through my whole life. I've had stages where I've been able to do it more regularly and lend a hand here and there, and I've had stages where it's been more difficult and I've been too busy.
Tell me, what does that actually mean? How do you do that? What do you mean you carry under the underdogs?
Just anyone who needs a little help, you know. I suppose in this country it means, I guess, people who have come from difficult background and circumstances, right through to even sometimes, you know, animal welfare societies, shelters. There's a lot of projects that I work with, and I find most fulfilled when I give of my time. we had an amazing thing last year. We raised R500,000 just through one post I did, which was for a couple of feeding schemes in the area. And I'd been there on the one day to go and help out, and there was like I didn't realize how bad the desperation was. It was right in the, like sort of second month of lockdown, where people were starting to like freak out, like what are we gonna do? And the line we fed all the kids, and then we didn't even get to the adults, and we fed like 5 adults and we ran out of food, and it really upset me. And I went and I told everyone what I'd seen, and then the next thing, like, we'd raised 500,000 rand, and I actually didn't really know what to do, because I wasn't expecting it to go that far so fast. So I had to set up a whole program with food trucks and delivery and schedules and timing, and make it last for 3 months, 4 months. And it was great. It was a lot of work, but it was great. But yeah, I mean, generally I just do it under the radar. I just do quite a lot of NGO work. Yeah. At various different places. And I love it. I get so much from it. Like, anyone who says that they're doing it for other people is weird, because like you get so much back from it. Like, it's actually, you do it for you. And it's like, giving is a wonderful thing. I really like it. So yeah, I do that a lot, and I get a lot of joy from that. Yeah.
Living that area that you're in now, did Art Matthews ever annoy you by singing on the rooftops? Oh wait, he's in Hout Bay.
No, he's in Hout Bay. Didn't hear him, but I thought it looked quite cool. What
I was totally joking.
I thought it was a really cool idea, and
it was great.
We did a bit of that. We streamed. Our first gig was like from our driveway, and we actually ironically sold the most tickets to that one out of all the streams we did. Like, as soon as we started putting fancy production tricks in place, everyone was like, "Nah." Do another
there
driveway.
was such cool innovations going on at that time in retro. Like, what I remember is the first, the person I'll give props to, the first guy who came out of the gate and did something different in lockdown, if that I remember, was Arno Carstens. I don't know if you remember that. They only sold, I was in the room, I bought a ticket. I think there was 120 or 200 tickets, but they were the first people to do a stream. And what they decided, I mean, you can't even remember. It's like sort of 9/11 vibes. You can't remember where our heads were pre-COVID, right? But they decided that if they were going to do live streams, it had to be like production value. So they built a stage, they did lighting, they had a whole fucking crew. They must have spent a fortune on it, because they didn't realize how long this thing was going to go on. And they did a great show, and I actually screen recorded it for my for prosperity, because I thought, like, this is a historical moment. This was where it all began. And then everybody tried different shit. Everyone was, and I really kind of, I know it was a bad time, but I loved that everyone was trying to find something new in this space. It was really
hectic.
Cool.
It was hectic. Like, we had to learn how to live stream, which is a job, by the way. It's like, it's its own industry.
This is what I've been doing for 10 years. I must have done 400 streams in the first 6 months of COVID, just helping out people to do the thing. Live streaming looks easy. It's really is not. There are so many components.
And I mean, we all had to learn this over like a week, if we wanted to do anything with it. And yeah, it was beautiful. I mean, we here at our little HQ, when we were allowed to come back, at our downstairs in our sort of performance area, we had we hosted 8 of these Get Lucky streaming events. We managed to get a sponsor. Luckily, Gordon's came on board and helped, because honestly, it would not have been feasible without a sponsor. Like, by that stage, the ticket sales, and we're talking like sort of July, August, September, October, November, the ticket sales were already kind of quite mediocre, because there was a lot of the stuff happening. And there was support, but not enough to kind of cover the costs, And yeah, we had, every week we had a different artist playing here. We had like Kurt Darren, we had Jack Parrow, we had...
Isn't Kurt Darren just the best? That guy is...
Do you know what he did? He walked into the shower door at sorry, that's my, I don't know why I can't turn it off on my computer. I'm going to try to turn it off. That's my stupid...
Don't worry about it. They're not... I barely noticed them.
Okay, good. I booked him into a Airbnb up the road from the studio, and he phoned me in the morning to say, he got up in the middle of the night to go for a pee, and it'd been so long since he'd gone on tour that he thought he was at his own house, and he walked into a glass shower door and smashed the entire shower door and cut his hand and his foot. He was all right, but it was like pretty funny. Woke up in the morning, like the literally the shower is just smashed up. But just goes to show you, hey, like that was just 6 months of not touring and what it can do to you if you're used to it. Yeah, wild. And then we had like so many cool artists. We had the Kiffness playing here. We had trying to think who else was here. Biggie was here. Biggie, who had Darmus. He came through with a really cool guy called G Boy, who's from Cape Town. Actually, he's I think he's done some stuff with the Antwoord.
Yes, that's the only reason I know G Boy is through the Antwoord stuff. I've seen him in that.
Super good. Like,
yeah,
I was blown away by he's got massive talent. Yeah, and we had this series of streaming shows and all that, and we also put a lot of effort into like cameramen, and we had a whole like setup in the back with screens, and we had Sean O'Tim. He was the one calling on the cameraman and editing the video, and it was cool because we got a musician to do it, which is important because they know when to like do the thing.
Yes, they know when the little special little moment bass line's about to start.
Exactly.
Little space that's going to be in cut there.
Exactly. And Sean's got like an ear like no one else I've heard. So
yeah, that is true. I'll give you that.
He trained himself. I phoned him. I was like, do you want to do this? And he's like, I have no experience, but I'm willing to try because, he's the nicest guy ever. And he came in and he just aced it. By like the third one, he was professional. So it was great.
Do you know Pops Muhammad? Pops Muhammad is 71 fucking years old. And in lockdown, because he was struggling, he had a career, he had overseas tour booked, very quickly ran out of money. He taught himself live streaming. He taught himself editing. He was doing shows and then editing them and uploading them and live streaming them. 71, man. I mean,
that's incredible. That's so good.
That's so cool.
And I mean, imagine like you've dedicated your whole life to your craft. You get to that age, it's supposed to just be fluid, and now like everything's shaken up and changed, and you just have to change. You have to adapt, and you have to change everything for yourself. It's like, it's wild.
Jules, I'm going to ask you an unwarranted favor, and that is, I would love for you to do something with Pops Muhammad. I'll tell you why. This guy, first of all, he's an icon. He's a global icon. Second of all, dance music around the world owes him a lot of favors. He was the guy who went into the San and the Khoi and recorded those traditional. Anytime you've ever heard African music sampled, he did it. He went and got their instruments and brought them into the world, learned to play them, learned to make them. He's had I don't know if you're a vinyl head like I am, but there's records like Black Disco, which are Pops Muhammad, that are hen's teeth. But at 71 years old, this guy, he's lost everything. And also he lost his son during COVID. He lost his money during COVID. He lost his house during COVID. Really? And here's the thing. I speak to him like almost every week. The guy's younger than a fucking teenager. He's just done a whole new album that he wants to release. He's been approached by grime DJs in the UK to do stuff with him. And he needs a little bit of a jump start. And I think I would like to I can't offer him to you, but I think you should consider doing something with Pops. I think
he's such an honor. It would be amazing.
I'm going to definitely connect the two of you if you're okay with that.
Absolutely. I mean, he's iconic, it would be amazing. I'm sure we could come up with something crazy and fun, and
there's no doubt that guy's trippy as shit. He's out on from a musical perspective, he's out on the ledge and then one foot's hanging off the ledge.
Really? And it's funny because I have like this crazy, like, I don't know, I don't know how else to say this without sounding very ageist, but I love old people. Like, I love them. I have so much to learn. And I just feel like they've lived these incredible lives, and they are the most beautiful people to absorb information from,
Well, now you've tapped into my all-time obsession. The reason I built Amp Studios, the reason that a lot of even this podcast, I'll tell you a secret that I've never told anyone about this podcast series.
Yeah.
The purpose of this podcast is to have loads and loads of current stars on. And then every like 4 or 5 episodes, I put on our old legends, the Pops Muhammads, the Yvonne Chakakas, the People Hot Sticks, the Kaifas Semanyas, the Letum Buddhas. They all come on here because I think people really need to fucking know how awesome, not only musically, what they have to offer in their 70s and 80s. These guys are still the dons of the world.
I think the world is changing, though. I don't think you need to be 20 years old and be a pop star to be relevant anymore. You know, you can do it. I think you can do it whenever. And I think that like guys that have had these full careers and are still doing it and they're still managing to make something of it. That's amazing. You know, everything is against you doing that in the world. So if they've done it, then like, you know, all huge amounts of respect. And that's
I definitely feel the one thing the COVID situation has done has sort of balanced the playing fields for artists who are doing their own thing versus the big, huge businesses who have kind of controlled these environments. They haven't lost their grip, but they're sort of frozen, wondering what to do, and it's allowed creative people to gallop forward and create new opportunities. I think. I don't know.
You know, I think it has been the most phenomenal opportunity for an up and coming or a new artist, because, and actually even more so on the live front, because, you know, we have been like the least busy, and all the other acts that were the most busy, that were touring, that because of medium to large size acts touring South Africa flat, like none of us are doing anything. You know, but there are venues booking artists at the moment, and you've got an opportunity to go and still play to maybe a small but a crowd and start to get fans. Whereas before they would have and could have rather got somebody slightly more, you know, with more of a following, and that's just what they did. But now it's just not feasible or worth it in any capacity. So they are booking smaller artists, you know, and like if you're an artist and you're still, and you're a producer, whatever, you wanted to have a career in the live space and you're still sitting on your hands now, like, you probably should consider something else, because seriously, this has been the biggest opportunity you could ever have hoped for, like to get following, to gain fans, and to actually, you know, just start to like get people to see you. Yeah, which is weird because a lot of people would argue the opposite, but I that's what I believe anyway.
Have you checked out Clubhouse? Are you in Clubhouse at all?
I'm on Clubhouse. I was one of the first people on Clubhouse. I got invited by my our ex-German manager. He's still running our label. Bless him, lovely man. He got me onto it like months and months ago, and he's like, you have to join Clubhouse. It's like everybody's there, all the famous people, and everyone is like whatever. So I went and I joined and I checked it out, and I mean, I like it. But I do find now a lot of it is just repetitive stuff, and
it's the truth.
Yeah, and
the coaches have taken over. The coach sales funnels people who are like, we're here to bring value and give you all these things. All you have to do is come into my sales funnel, and everything will be great.
Yeah, like it's useful from one perspective. I found it useful in the songwriting space to connect with people that are, you know, that are also writing or whatever, and also, you know, who actually, there's a lot of music supervisors on there, which is quite cool if you're an artist and you're wanting to get your song in a movie. So
I've met Grammy Award-winning producer. I mean, I really have met. In terms of what I've learned from the music industry, has been totally mind-boggling for me. I also met and had a big argument with, and subsequently became friends on Instagram with the lead singer of the Four Tops, the Motown band.
Wow.
But I definitely have learned shit. I mean, I've heard some of the biggest artists really giving information about the music industry that I've never heard before, and from that alone, I feel really privileged.
I think there's some real, like, if you are in the right chats and stuff, you can really get some great insights in there. And I've learned also that the best thing to do is just like listen and see who's out there, and connect with the people that might be interesting to you. But I think also, like, it can be super time consuming, like all of these social media platforms. So you just have to
Holy shit. Clubhouse will eat your life, people. That's the tobacco
Might even be
warning
worse
on the
than
label.
TikTok. I think like TikTok even comes second to Clubhouse. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
got a problem. I love TikTok, but I got a problem with
I
TikTok,
hate
and that
TikTok.
is, this is gonna sound really like old manish, but I got a little kid, right? And I'm fucking terrified of him discovering TikTok
You
because
know,
TikTok's actually
I
evil.
I actually like I'm so like my heart is I've never been so conflicted in my life on anything because first of all, I don't like it. It gives me a big fat no feeling.
I
I
like it, but I like it. I'd like. It's like watching a car crash. You just want to watch it. You know, you just want to see the cars crash. You want to see. Yeah, it's terrible.
it's
It's
the
awful.
moral dilemma in me because I look what I see, what I mainly see
Mm.
is like young girls like doing these dances and
No, there's
copying
fucking all the porn actresses, all the
and
porn stars
everyone
are there with their own TikTok channels,
and
and
they're
it's
all
normal.
it's like and but it's also like copying on like everyone's wanting to do the same dances and the same things
Copy. You're
and
right.
it's
You're right.
like and it's like it's I find there's a lot of like it's just so dripping in ego and narcissism. It like on the one hand, I struggle with it ethically. I have to be honest, but on the other hand, I know that's where everyone is right now. And if I want to get any of my music heard, I should do some TikTok stuff. But I honestly don't even know what to do. I'm like,
I
it
want to. I'm gonna. I'm in no position to give you, Jules, super duper international rock star, any advice, but I'm gonna give it
please
to you.
do. I need it.
Um, yeah, I'm just gonna do it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
The one thing that I think you should be careful of, and
Mm.
this is more than TikTok because it's a recurring theme, and again, I come with a lot of baggage because with my band, you know, we toured the world for 6 years and we didn't make it. You know, we had very, you know, whatever it was, whether I was a
You
major
had a
contributor.
career though, so
Yeah, we had a major contributor to. I was a major contributor to our failed career, but like we were signed in the US. We had this big motherfucking global plan. It was all locked and loaded. Then the recession hit. Then we were sort of, you know, all the emerging bands got got the chop in 2008, 2009, and I made the bold independent decision we were going to tour without any support and bankrupted the band, and everybody hates me as a result. But what I would tell you is this: what I struggled a lot with something in cassette that I have retrospectively come to terms with, and it has made me enjoy what I do a lot more. And that is, and again, I'm making any assumptions here. This might be completely unwelcome and unwarranted, just from the things that you've said, is that you know, there are two processes as an artist, and the one is the process of creating, where you are purely in that creation mode, and then only later do you have to start thinking about what does the audience want, what is your business plan, what is the, you know, you've got to wear those two caps, but you have to, when you start wearing them at the same time, that's when shit goes wrong. You know, when you start going like, oh, I really need to do this thing because that's the thing I need to do. If you start doing that while you are writing a song, it corrupts the song because now you're writing a song for the audience, not writing a song for you. This is my personal opinion.
no, you're bang on. Yeah, absolutely. I
So
know
when it
that.
comes to TikTok, in my
Mm.
opinion, or things like that, I think you should do what you believe and fuck the business. The idea like, oh, everyone's a TikTok, I need to be a TikTok, but I don't agree with TikTok. That is simply solved when you come back to go to become the pure
Yeah,
creative and
you know what's
say,
interesting?
I haven't.
Actually, like, what would I put on there? Like, I hear what you're saying. Are you saying like just because of what other people don't do that? What would what if, okay? So what would you use it for, and what message or what creative thing would you put on there that you would
No,
feel?
what I'm saying is, if you have your gut instinct is, I have a ideological issue with TikTok. But I feel like I need to be on TikTok because that's where the audience, that's where bands are. That to me is the dichotomy of the artist versus the business person. Now,
Mm.
you as an artist who represent your band, if you don't believe in TikTok, you shouldn't be on TikTok.
Yeah.
That's the end of the story. Now it's corrupted by the business side saying, "Oh, we need to be on TikTok. We need to be." There'll be another fucking TikTok after TikTok. But to me, it's the artists who follow through with
Yeah.
who are so focused on their craft and what they're doing.
Mm. And this is the dilemma, because I mean, we have always worn two hats in this band, you know, and I think like we wouldn't. I'm not gonna lie to you, we wouldn't have been as successful as we were if we hadn't, you know. So I think that the conflict for me is, yeah, it does. Like at the moment, I'm sitting on your side of the fence because I haven't done TikTok for like a long time, because it's just every time I pick it up and look at it, I'm like, I get an ugly feeling, and I don't like that. And I think I've also learned a lot of it was to do with this trip that I went on, reminding me like exactly what you're saying. You know, you don't have to be on all the social media, you don't have to do it all, you can just pick what you want to do and do it in your own time. I've also been spending a hell of a lot less time on Instagram and a hell of a lot less time on Facebook. And I actually you know, I used to post every third day or so because I felt like we had to, and I haven't posted in like over a week and a half.
But
And
again,
you know,
you're confusing two things, and that
mm,
is this.
mm.
Okay, I'm going to try and explain this in my way, right? And I know you have to go. I'm taking you into a
No,
whole
no,
different
it's
world.
fine. I'm just moving because my back hurts.
Number one, if you feel like you should be on TikTok, but you don't have the energy to do it, then
Mm,
fucking hire a virtual assistant to be your TikTok expert. Give them content, let them do that. That's a different story. You know,
mm.
what you're saying to me now is like, oh, you don't feel like being on Instagram, so you're not on Instagram. But that's because you're doing Instagram. But with
I'm just,
TikTok, if you believed in TikTok, but you had this fundamental issue, then the way to save your soul and your business is to say, I'm going to find a virtual assistant on Fiverr. I'm going to pay them 300 Rand a week, a month, and I'm going to ask them to put our shit on TikTok. But that isn't the question. The question is, I actually don't believe fundamentally, ethically in TikTok.
it's
From
such a
that
difficult,
perspective,
it's such a
then
difficult
don't
thing.
be on TikTok.
Yeah,
You're making a positive
it's a
statement.
it's a difficult thing. It's not. I wish it was as cut and dry as that, but I think that there again, like there are sides to that platform that are really cool, you know, and really funny and really sweet and all that. And if it was all that, I'd be okay with it. But I think where it's rooted, like it you know, I do struggle with it a bit, but it's cool, it's my journey, I'll get there, you know, either I'll
I
do
know,
it or I
I
won't
know.
do it. I think what I've learned though is that like
Yeah.
just don't care so much. Just when you feel like doing something and you feel like you have something to say it. If you don't feel like you have to just post something because you have to keep feeding the beast, the monster, because I think that's disingenuous. And I'm not, that's not really where my head and my heart is at the moment. Even if it is maybe a bad business decision, I like, you know, it's cool. We'll talk about stuff when we have stuff to talk about, really.
Jules, it's been amazing chatting to you. I really have loved chatting to you. I'm sorry if it was a bit of a weird meandering thing. I
Oh, it
loved
was
it.
so interesting. So it's like, I felt like it's just a chat. I mean, other people are going to probably get bored as hell, but it's
I
fine.
don't think
We
so.
had a good time.
I really appreciate your time and have loved getting to know you a little bit better. I'm
Thanks,
such a
man.
fan of you. I mean,
Oh,
I love your
likewise.
band.
Likewise, you know what
But
I miss? I really miss hanging out backstage and seeing you and seeing Jane, and like back in the day, you know, being backstage or whatever K-Day or whatever gig, rocking the daisies or whatever we were doing, and just having
I
a
don't know
little drink.
why. I have a memory you've just given me, and I don't remember what it was going on. But when I saw you backstage at K Day, which must have been a decade ago,
Probably, yeah.
I was going through something terrible, and I think I even tracked you down to try and wait a second. I'm remembering, but I can't remember what the fuck was going on.
I'm not
Were you
sure.
you assigned to Just Music, right?
Yes. Oh, we were
Okay,
going to some label stuff.
you were going through some. Maybe you were going through label stuff. No,
It's been a long
something
road.
something was happening, and I don't remember what it was.
It's been a long road. But thank you so much for your time. I've also got to say goodbye to these beautiful neon dreamers here in my studio who are about to
These
cruise.
Canadians.
The Canadians.
Yeah.
Leave.
Well, cheers to you,
Thanks.
and good luck with your Canadian collab. And thank you for your time. And I have one question. Sorry, I have to have the one last question, and then I'll let you go. Please recommend someone you think would be a great person to be on this show. Now that you know how weird it is.
Do they have to be South African?
Doesn't have to be. It can be anything, anyone. Doesn't have to be a musician.
Russell
Could be
Brand.
the guy. Fuck. Only he'd return my WhatsApp messages. Someone
Wow.
someone that we could actually possibly reach out to.
Have
Russell Brand.
you spoken to Zolani?
I haven't. Zolani and I are very close friends, and for that reason, I haven't considered her for this show.
Because I think she might be lovely for this show.
Yeah.
She's a really interesting person, and she's a wonderful person. So maybe her.
No, I love her. She's fantastic. All right, I'll take that. Thanks.
Full power all the way.
The last question, I know I'm being really rude here, but this has been on my mind for the longest, for at least 100 years now. I've never had the nerve to ask this. When GoodLuck started, it was very weird because the name was very similar to Goldfish. Then the website was GoodLuck Live, and their one was Goldfish Live, and the setup was kind of the same. Everything seemed a bit the same, and it confused me at the time.
Okay.
You've got 1 minute to answer that question. That wasn't a question.
Okay, no, I know where you're going. I think, like Goldfish were a huge inspiration for us. They always will be. And I think that there are a lot of similarities because obviously Ben and Dom are brothers, so they have a very similar everything.
But doesn't that make it even weirder? The first GoodLuck gig I ever went to was also like a tablecloth with a DJ booth,
with
a singer,
DJ, everything. It was a big inspiration for us, like watching them do what they did. And I think, I think everyone knows that we were influenced hugely by what they were doing, their sound, their style. But we also wanted to do it our own way. And I think we have always been a lot more live and a lot more focused on kind of like songwriting, where they've really been more in the kind of real dance world. And rather bringing the live instruments into the dance world, we've kind of brought the dance world into the like live space, because we obviously came from a previous band. We had drums and bass and everything. So I think it's kind of like we've done the opposite thing, but there've definitely been a lot of similarities over the years. And yeah, it's crazy to the point where like Ben and Dom sometimes even will write songs being in different parts of the world and have the same chords in the song at the same time. I think that's what happens when you have a brother who is, doing the same path and the same journey as you. I think you're going to find, like, energetically, there's going to be stuff that goes down and happens like that. So yeah, but I think like from our side,
Goldfish needed Jules though. That's the real secret weapon.
Yeah, but they don't need Jules. They do it so different. They've got the instrumental thing, and yeah, I mean, we'll always love and respect what they do. And we've booked them recently for our New Year's Eve gig, which was really nice to be able to do that. And they've been moments, they've been things that we've had to deal with over the years, because there have been like these perceptions of certain things. But yeah, it's like anything, we just all trying to do our best, and they're just trying to do their best. And I think at the moment there's a lot of love there, which is really cool. And yeah, things are going very well for them and pretty well for us. So everyone seems good.
Much love and great respect. Keep on doing what you're doing. A real honor for me to chat to you, and I hope to see you in the real world and not on this little red
keep doing this.
screen.
I love how real this chat is, and I think it's awesome. I think we are. You must come over to the studio sometime when you have a moment.
I would love to. I'm in Muizenberg every Thursday. I surf there regardless of conditions. That's my philosophy. Because life is
that's brave. That's very brave.
No, it's been working out so well.
Awesome. Thanks for the chat, John.
Tell those Canadians to piss off back to Canada now.
No way.
No, joking. Lots of love.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.